Now, in first working with Photoshop and creating something, you first have to know what document size that you want to create in. So it depends on what you're working on. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to start with a certain size. And so what you're going to do in Photoshop, you're going to go under the File, under the menu bar, and click New. And with that, that's going to open up a dialog box. And here you can set any size that you want to work in. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to work in a size that we're going to work in 8.5 by 11. And you can obviously create any size you want. If you look here, you can also create in different size, in different pixels, in centimeters, millimeters, points, picots, and columns. Generally speaking, you'd be working in inches if you're doing print work. If you're working in doing things for the web, you're going to find to be working in pixels most of the time. And so a lot of these others may not get used a lot. You're going to find, again, you're going to be typically using inches and pixels. You might get in the others, but it's unlikely. And so let me get back to inches here. But we're going to be, putting in any size we want. Let's say we're going to create a flyer. And so a typical flyer size would be 8.5 by 11 inches. And one thing I want to mention here is that if you are creating something for a print work, for something that's going to be printed, you want to make sure that your resolution right here is correct. Most printers, are going to want a 300 resolution. That's 300 pixels per inch is what that is. And also, they're going to really desire that you have the color mode. You can do different color modes, but you're going to want to have it set as CMYK color. That is what printers prefer. If you're doing something for the web, you're going to be working in RGB color. So those are the two main ones you're probably going to be using. You can use, if you want to use something or create something that's in grayscale, you can then start with there. So in this box here, you're going to determine the parameters of your document. You're going to determine the size, the resolution, the color mode. I don't normally deal with this too much. Right here, the bit, you can, but I don't really deal with that or have to deal with that. And again, you can indicate what the background. Whenever you first bring up a document, you're going to the bottommost layer is going to be the background content. I at least leave it white. You can always change that later. Just realize you can change anything later on if you don't like it. You can change the size, but you really want to have a pretty good size of what size that you're starting with when you work with Photoshop. And so anyway, so we're going to do an 8.5 by 11 document. And so I do that, and I just click OK. And it will open up in a window here that we can then begin to use as our palette, if you will. And so pretty easy to create any size that you want, but if you know the size that you need to do, start there. And one thing I want to mention as well, if you are doing something for printing work, for something to take to a printer, and then printers will often need what they call bleed, and that is actually extra beyond what's going to be trimmed out, and we'll cover that later. But you can start with, in this case, an 8.5 by 11 size and work from there.